In a far-off time in Japan, there lived a samurai named Idé. He was wedded to a fair wife and had an only child, a boy called Fugiwaka. Idé was a mighty man of war, and as often as not he was away from home upon the business of his liege lord. So the child Fugiwaka was reared by his mother and by the faithful woman, his nurse. Matsu was her name, which is, in the speech of the country, the pine tree. And even as the pine tree, strong and evergreen, was she, unchanging and enduring. In the House of Idé there was a very precious sword. Aforetime, a hero of Ide's clan slew 48 of his enemies with this sword in one battle. The sword was Ide's most sacred treasure. He kept it laid away in a safe place with his household gods. Morning and evening the child Fugiwaka came to make salutations before the household gods, and to reverence the glorious memory of his ancestors, and Matsu, the nurse, knelt by his side. Morning and evening, "Show me the sword, O Matsu, my nurse," said Fugiwaka, and O Matsu made answer, "Of a surety, my lord, I will show it to you." Then she brought the sword from its place, wrapped in a covering of red and gold brocade, and she drew off the covering, and she took the sword from its golden sheath and displayed the bright steel to Fugiwaka, and the child made obeisance till his forehead touched the mats. At bedtime, O Matsu sang songs and lullabies. She sang this song, "Sleep, my little child, sweetly sleep. Would you know the secret of the hair, O Nenin-yama? Sleep, my little child, sweetly sleep. You shall know the secret. Oh, the august hair of Nenin-yama, how augustly long are his ears. Why should this be, O best beloved? You shall know the secret. His mother ate the bamboo seed. Hush, hush. His mother ate the loquat seed. Hush, hush. Sleep, my little child, sweetly sleep. Now you know the secret." Then O Matsu said, "Will you sleep now, my lord Fugiwaka?" And the child answered, "I will sleep now, O Matsu." "Listen, my lord," she said, "and sleeping or waking, remember, the sword is your treasure, the sword is your trust, the sword is your fortune. Cherish it, guard it, keep it." "Sleeping or waking, I will remember," said Fugiwaka. Now, in an evil day, the mother of Fugiwaka fell sick and died, and there was mourning in the House of Idé. Howbeit, when years were past, the samurai took another bride, and he had a son by her, and called him Goro. And after this, Idé himself was slain in an ambush, and his retainers brought his body home and laid him with his fathers. Fugiwaka was chief of the House of Idé. But the lady Sadako, his stepmother, was ill-pleased. Black mischief stirred in her heart. She bent her brows and she brooded as she went her ways, bearing her babe in her arms. At night she tossed upon her bed. "My child is a beggar," she said. "Fugiwaka is chief of the House of Idé. Evil fortune betide him. It is too much," said the proud lady. "I will not brook it. My child a beggar. I would rather strangle him with my hands." Thus she spoke and tossed upon her bed, thinking of a plan. When Fugiwaka was 15 years old, she turned him out of the house with a poor garment upon his back, barefooted, with never a bite nor a sup nor a gold piece to see him on his way. "Ah, lady mother," he said, "you use me ill. Why do you take my birthright?" "I know naught of birthrights," she said. "Go, make your own fortune if you can. Your brother Goro is chief of the House of Idé." With that she bade them shut the door in his face. Fugiwaka departed sorrowfully, and at the crossroads O Matsu, his nurse, met him. She had made herself ready for a journey. Her robe was kilted. She had a staff in her hand and sandals on her feet. "My lord," she said, "I am come to follow you to the world's end." Then Fugiwaka wept and laid his head upon the woman's breast. "Ah," he said, my nurse, and," he said, "what of my father's sword? I have lost the precious sword of Idé. The sword is my treasure, the sword is my trust, the sword is my fortune. I am bound to cherish it, to guard it, to keep it." but now I have lost it. Woe is me! I am undone, and so is all the House of Idé." "Oh, say not so, my lord," said O Matsu. "Here is gold. Go you your way, and I will return and guard the sword of Idé." So Fugiwaka went his way with the gold that his nurse gave him. As for O Matsu, she went straightway and took the sword from its place where it lay with the household gods, and she buried it deep in the ground until such time as she might bear it in safety to her young lord. But soon the Lady Sadako became aware that the sacred sword was gone. "It is the nurse," she cried. "The nurse has stolen it. Come, some of you bring her to me." Then the Lady Sadako's people laid their hands roughly upon O Matsu and brought her before their mistress. But for all they could do, O Matsu's lips were sealed. She spoke never a word, neither could the Lady Sadako find out where the sword was. She pressed her thin lips together. "The woman is obstinate," she said. "Some of you take her to the dark dungeon. I will go to the wise woman." So they laid her in the dark dungeon and shut the door, and the Lady Sadako went to the wise woman and told her all that had happened. "She has concealed the sword of Idé," said the Lady Sadako. "And will you tell me where it is?" "Never while I live," said O Matsu. "So then," said the wise woman, "you must shut her in the dark dungeon for 7 days. Then her soul will go out and the secret will die with her." "Right said, wise woman," said the Lady Sadako. "Then I will return to the dark dungeon after 7 days." Now the wise woman stood pondering, but she spake not, and the Lady Sadako departed. So the 7 days passed, and when the 7th night was past, the Lady Sadako came to the dark dungeon. "Woman," she said, "are you alive?" "I am alive," said O Matsu, "yet I am weary of this life. I have thought to give up my soul to the darkness. My lord Fugiwaka needs the sword of Idé. I think I must leave my soul to the darkness and send him the sword. Will you do this for me, wise woman?" "Speak it," said the wise woman. "So I leave my soul to the darkness, and I cast my body upon the dust of the earth. Bring my lord Fugiwaka the sword of Idé." Then the wise woman made a hole in the wall of the dungeon and slipped the sword of Idé through it. And when morning light broke, she opened the door of the dark dungeon, and O Matsu was dead within. "Behold," said the wise woman, "here is the sword of Idé. Take it and deliver it to your lord." Then the Lady Sadako laughed aloud. "What a fool I have been," she said. "I thought the sword was lost, and all the time it has been in the garden all the time." And she went and took the sword from where the wise woman had laid it, and when the sun shone clear, she put on a rich robe and ornaments, and donned her girdle and went out of the house with the sword at her side. Now Fugiwaka tossed to and fro upon his lowly bed in a wayside tavern, and it seemed to him that his nurse came to him and knelt by his side. Then he was soothed. O Matsu said, "Will you sleep now, my lord Fugiwaka?" And he answered, "I will sleep now, O Matsu." "Listen, my lord," she said, "and, sleeping or waking, remember, the sword is your treasure. The sword is your trust. The sword is your fortune. Cherish it, guard it, keep it." The sword was in its wrapping of gold and scarlet, and she laid it by Fugiwaka's side. The boy turned over to sleep, and his hand clasped the sword of Idé. "Waking or sleeping," he said, "I will remember. And if you want to hear more stories like this, stay tuned for more content.